Want to get into some of the stuff in the portal here as we get a chance to. But before we do that, I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak on your good friend Bob Holt. We spent a lot of time talking about Bob over these last 2 days, and that's been the number one story all across the state, and I think mostly across college sports. If you're talking about off the field stuff, it's really been heartening to see everybody's memories of him and just all the love for Bob.
Yeah, I think the true measure of a man is not what people say about you when you're alive, but after you've passed. And the outpouring of sympathy and support and just goodwill toward a guy who, a lot of people have said it was just the best of us. A great writer, but an even greater person. You never left a room, a press conference, a press box, without Bob saying something that uplifted you. And you loved both his wisdom and his naivety at times. And, as somebody who lives his life through humor and trying to look forward to the next day, it's been a really tough week knowing that, we won't hear the phrase, Bob, get us started anymore at press conferences, as we have many in person over the years through Zoom. Just a wonderful, wonderful human being that, we're all going to miss. But, man, did he make a impression while he was here.
Well, were you still with basketball when he started covering the team, or had you made the move over to media by then?
No, I was still with Coach Sutton and then Coach Richardson, and he was very thorough. He was I was a manager back then, and he was making sure to comb those manager sources and all that. He was just great at what he did. I know that other people have probably said this, but he and Nate Allen were pure comedy in press conferences. Bob wanting to ask another question, Nate wanting to get out of there, both the best of friends, both true professionals. But it was entertaining for us just to watch their expressions and their mechanisms, and we're all saddened. But man, I think back to I'm not going to miss him. I'm going to try to remember him and the positive influence, how he made me feel over these 40-plus years.
And I like that perspective, Dudley. Thanks for framing it in that sense. All right, look, can you help put into context what this week for Arkansas football has been like, and what it means now? Because there's so many, mostly on the offensive side, if not all on the offensive side, names of players who have announced they're putting their names into the portal that could have been big parts of a team next year. We're assuming they're SEC players moving on. Defensively, you're getting guys that are announcing they're coming back.
It's interesting. I can't blame Luke Hasz. Let's just be, very, simple about it. You got to throw him the ball. He came here as a pass-catching tight end, and whether it was having to keep him in to help block with the line or whatever, he just didn't get enough, opportunities. And yes, he was injured some, but I think that's a situation where it's hard for me to blame him at all. Certainly Coach Trino knows far more about offense than I do. He's forgotten more about it than I do. But I do know that guy was a playmaker when he was healthy, and he just wants to catch the ball, and I'm sure he's going to go do that somewhere else. As far as the other offensive guys, it's hard to blame Malachi Singleton. He hadn't, I don't think, got the opportunities he thought he deserved, whether it be in backup time or whatever these past couple of years. And, I'm having trouble remembering whether he made his announcement before or after the Madden from UCLA decided he was going to come here. But, I get it. It's free agency in college football now. You want to play. You want to make money. You want to do the things that, put you in a good situation to get to the NFL. And while Arkansas has done some wonderful things with Andrew Armstrong and some others, I don't blame these two guys at all. As far as the defense, I think these guys love playing for T. And I think that it's going to be one of those things that you're going to be good on defense. You need to get a few portal guys. You're going to be good on defense, but offense is where you're, I think, you better hit on the portal, or you're going to be in the same type of situation as last year or this year, however we look at it.
Hey, Dudley, there's a conference championship game tonight. We've been talking a little bit in the first hour about these conference championship games and how they mean more to certain leagues, I guess, than they do other leagues. How interested are you in these games tonight and then the games tomorrow? And then kind of the big one the one that could cause the most havoc, which everybody, I guess, wants the chaos. If Clemson beats SMU, do you put both those teams in the playoff 12?
I do, but I'm biased because I really like Red Lashley. I think he's done a great job. I have a wonderful, beautiful wife, Petra, who allows me to have 3 TVs in the living room. It's like going to a sports bar here that you're able to watch all these games, and we will have plenty on tonight. Obviously, you have to give a lot of credit to Barry Odom and what he's done at UNLV. And Jackson Woodard, how about that young man, the defensive player of the year in the conference, and was a guy that you could see potential here, but he made the move. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Army-Navy tomorrow as well. I know that's not a conference title game, but I always find that interesting, and I think our good friend Taylor McGregor has done a wonderful job this week on her Instagram, which is not a phrase I use a lot. I don't go to the Instagram a lot, but it's given us kind of the background on the Army-Navy game and West Point and all that. So it's going to be a great weekend, and with the fact that I don't have to cover anybody, I'm going to watch a lot of it.
Sure, you don't use Instagram very much, Dudley, because you're always on TikTok, or you're definitely a Snapchat addict, aren't you?
My kids used to get mad at me because I would say, "Yeah, I'm going to go to my profile on Icebox," but it's good for these kids. It is good for us as well, but sometimes it's the bane of my existence.
Hey, how about Izzy last night? Were you there at the women's game? That
was not last night, but watched it all. She's just a stud. She's just a player. She's going to get a little help when Phoenix comes in on the 15th, I think. But those Boston College girls, like, what just happened here? She has a tremendous mid-range, really at all 3 levels. Although she didn't get it. It wasn't 3-pointers last night. She was just taking people, and it was I root or root against. I don't really do that, but I love to watch individual performances, and that was just brilliant last night. Kind of wanted her to go ahead and get 40, but I guess 38 is a pretty good amount too. So it's been a joy watching her play, and I'm glad she got the opportunity to get up here, even though. As she and I have talked about, Newport and Batesville are bitter rivals from back in the day. But she's one from Batesville I love to see doing good.
So you're able to put that personal bias aside. Okay.
Absolutely.
Some of them that are. Men's team tomorrow, UTSA. Michigan Tuesday next week. I don't know really much about Michigan. I just know I'm putting a lot more stock in what's happening in the games against power conference teams than anything else. It's just... We're getting a little more healthy. You got any insight as to Adu? He was on the floor more in the last game. Brazil is looks like he's maybe close to being back to where you'd like him to be, but Big Z had the ankle turn, so where are we health-wise?
Yeah, I think that from what I understand and talking to some folks, they're about to get to the point of where they're going to be what they're supposed to have been, or at least the expectations. The guys you just mentioned, I got to say this, the guys you just mentioned, they're going to be able to get some rebounds, which has been an issue. There's been a lot of missed shots, and certainly they have some guys that can knock down the 3-pointers, and I think some of them are more scorers than they are shooters. But that will help out. I do think that that is the biggest thing that's going to have to be. They're going to have to do a better job as. You don't have to, just because you're open, you don't have to take that shot. Very important to get the ball around and get a better shot. And I think these guys, who many of them were phenomenal players who had the ball in their hands all the time, are going to have to learn and are in the process of learning how to share the ball and make sure you get the best shot, not just the first shot.
Dudley, I've only seen him play 3 times this year. It would have been the Baylor game, the Illinois game, and then the Miami. So I'll get to watch him play Michigan. My favorite 2 players right now, number 3 and number 21. I think both those dudes are just absolute studs. Who are you liking so far? Like, I think if this team's going to have success, those 2 guys are going to have good seasons.
Yeah, I love watching Boogie. We better take it all in because I think he's just going to be here 1 year.
How do you think an undersized? He's 5'11". How do you think a 5'11" point guard is going to get drafted in the lottery in the NBA? Though
I'm not sure he's going to be drafted in the lottery.
Okay.
I think he's going to be taken, and I think from everything I hear, that's his journey. That's the path that he sees for himself.
Nothing wrong with going to Arkansas for 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I hear you. It's worked well for a couple of guys that are doing really well in the NBA right now. A couple of big guys for sure. I certainly get your point. But man, I tell you what, is as much as we look at starters in the NBA, it's so important the second units that they have in the NBA now. I love my guy Peyton Pritchard that plays for the Celtics. He has come along and he's an absolute force now on that second unit for the Celtics. And that's kind of where I see Boogie as working in early on. I think somebody will take a shot at him, but I do think that it is a situation to where how good is the SEC, man? I mean, they lose 2 games in the deal, and it's their 2 top-rated teams that lost it. There's going to be no easy games in the SEC this year.
No, there won't. But we won't see one for a few weeks. Dudley, we'll leave it there. Thanks for hopping on today. We appreciate your time. Thanks.
All right, hey, and thanks for y'all honoring Bob. Y'all are great guys, and really enjoyed being on here.
Thanks, Dudley.
Well, we enjoyed him absolutely too. Same as you.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.